Back at the Cintas. Full circle. Every great story comes full circle. Almost like the circle of life. Even great athletes know you play like you practice. What if you don't? I hate the what if game. Hate it. But when you got 12-7 at home, you're going to play the what if game. So a couple of weekends ago, they said, "Hey, Dad, if you had one superhero power, what would it be?" And I think I chose to fly, which is stupid because I'm afraid of heights and I hate roller coasters, so I don't know why I chose that. One of them chose super speed, one of them chose telekinesis, which I thought was a good choice, and one chose invisibility. Lauren wanted the power to change the world. She wanted to rid the world of cancer. Jeez, what a dreamer. In Ecclesiastes 5:7, it says, "Dreaming instead of doing is foolishness, and there is ruin in a flood of empty words." Lauren had very few empty words. In our first interview, she took our photographer, Eric Gerhard, back to her room and showed her the jersey that she had been given, the Lawrenceburg jersey, the 22. She had been given just days before on her 19th birthday, October 1st, and she said, "I told my parents when I came home, I just want to put this jersey on because it makes me feel like I'm a superhero, like I can do anything, like I'm as strong as I was before." She wanted to be in the game. She wanted to wear the jersey all the time, and when she couldn't, she would act as if she was. In a generation of selfies, look at me, listen to me, anonymous voices on Twitter telling everyone how to live their life, judgment without consequence, what's in it for me, Lauren refused to hide. She was insistent on being vulnerable. Flowers that were picked out for the funeral. There was a little girl who was standing by as the arrangement was being made. She said, "Who's this arrangement for?" And she said it was for Lauryn Hill. And she said, "Which Lauryn Hill? Was it the one who played basketball or the chubby cheek one?" Lauren would have laughed at that, because Lauren laughed at herself. In a society when we get a zit on our chin and we refuse to go outside, Lauren wanted to be seen, warts and all. She wanted me to interview her at her worst so people would understand what the disease was doing. I asked her before Thanksgiving, "Don't you ever wonder, why me?" She said, "Well, I probably have, but I asked for this." I said, "What do you mean you asked for it?" She said, "When I was frustrated, I sat down with God and I said, if you give me time, I will do everything you ask of me. I will be the voice for the voiceless. I will stand up for the children. Just give me time." And he has. So I hope I've done all that he's asked me to do. We weren't sure we were going to get another interview after that, and yet before Christmas, we wondered what was on her list. Actually, her dad wondered what was on her list. "Can anybody tell me what you want for Christmas?" And I kept telling Dad, she said, "I don't want anything for Christmas. I just want to be here. I just want time." We weren't sure she was going to make it through the holidays, and yet she did. So we talked again, and I said, "What's on the list now?" She said, "I want to see that gym open at Lawrenceburg." And it's almost there. And when her jersey hangs from the rafters, she will be there. She said, the DIPG Gala, I want to be there for that. It's coming up on Saturday. She's dressed in her gown. She will be there. She said, I want to see Erin's braces come off her teeth because she has such a beautiful smile, and I can't wait to see them when they come off. And Erin, I guarantee you the moment they do, she will be there. Never did I hear her say, what's in it for me? She was purpose-driven. First line in Rick Warren's Purpose-Driven Life is, one thing you need to know, it's not about me. Lauren learned that long before she was 18, while most of us are still trying to figure it out. Give, she would give. She gave until it hurts. She played in pain. When we developed layup for Lauren, and no, she was mad at me that day. She played through it. When she couldn't play anymore, she coached through it. When she couldn't coach anymore, she appeared. When she couldn't stand anymore, she wheeled herself in. She was always up. I don't remember seeing her down, even in pain, even in crying. She had something positive to say because she knew where she was going. Up. Never give up. A basketball friend of mine who played here wrote me an email the day that Lauren died. She said her 6-year-old daughter, she told her in the morning, and her daughter said, "That's great, Mom. Now Lauren's with God and Jesus and can run and play basketball, and she won't have to wear glasses anymore." Wow. What kind of superpower do you want? She was never worried about me. She said, "I'm not scared to die. I know where I'm going. I'm worried about who's left." So she's worried about all of you. What if? What if it wasn't about you? The Wednesday scrimmage before the November 2nd game, I sat down on the bench with her at Cincinnati State, and we smiled. We laughed about the game that was coming up, and I don't know why it came up, but we started talking about heaven. I said, "Do you think about heaven?" She said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "How cool is that? You're going to get a chance to see heaven." She goes, "It's pretty cool." And because I am all about me, I said, "Hey, when you go, you won't forget about me, will you? You'll still let me know you're around?" She goes, "Oh, yeah. I'll turn your lights off and on." On Saturday night, we went to the Lion King. It started at 8 p.m. Why do they start the Lion King at 8 p.m. when you're taking children to the Lion King? But we were at the Aronoff Center, and our 7-year-old was barely able to make it through intermission. And by the time we got to the last song, he was snoring on my shoulder, and we decided we better get out of there. And walking out, I listened to the circle of life. And I couldn't help but think about Lauren. And as we drove back into our driveway, our porch light was off. And my wife said, "Why is our light off? Our light burned out?" Not again. We got into the house, and she flipped the switch, and the light went back on. "Ah, Lauren, you're doing it to me already." To Brent and Lisa, thank you for sharing your daughter with the world. When parents get a diagnosis that their child may have 2 years to live, you want to hold them tight, keep them to yourself. You shared them with everyone. Thank you for sharing Lauren. To Aaron, who said to me in the first interview, I imagine this day is going to be really difficult, and it has been. Aaron, you will shine way beyond Lauren because that's what she wanted. To Nate, who said to me when I first talked to him, she's athletic, she's smart, and I hope someday I can be like her. Nate, you already are. You will surpass her as well, just like she wanted. She asked something of everyone. Forget about the past. You can't do anything. Learn from it and take it forward. Don't worry about the future. Because tomorrow is never promised. Today is all that matters. You can be a hero too. What kind of power do you choose? We shared Lauren's last few months together. Eric Gerhardt as closely as I. This is our tribute to Lauren Hill. We introduced you to Lauren Hill just after her 19th birthday. We were at the impromptu post-practice surprise party.
When I got home, I told my parents that I was going to wear it around underneath all my clothes like it's a superhero uniform. Days like this. Because it just reminds me of being strong. Like to stay as strong as I was back then.
The back then was her as a Lawrenceburg High School Tiger. Basketball had become her passion, but only because her soccer coach cut her as a goalie in her senior year, after not allowing a goal in her junior year. And she wrote a paper for English 101 entitled, When Everything Changed.
Life isn't fair. People will always have things happen to them that will knock them down, but it's bouncing back to one's feet that's the most important part.
So basketball it was, and on her 18th birthday, she committed to play at Mount St. Joe.
And I was like, man, I got to make a memory. Like on my birthday, I got to make a good memory that I can go back and remember. And I decided that that was the night I was going to call the coach and confirm that I was coming to the Mount to play.
The terminal diagnosis followed 49 days later. DIPG, diffused intrinsic pontine glioma. Number 22 was given 2 years maximum to live. When everything changed. In the brain, but not in the heart.
Motto is never give up. Not that she ever did before, so I wouldn't imagine that it would change
It
now.
It hasn't changed much, but
she's still never giving up.
I never for a second thought about sitting down and like just not living life anymore.
And live she did, with purpose. Her doctor said she could be the face of DIPG, a cancer that usually strikes children between 5 to 8. At first it didn't really make sense to her, but after one particularly passionate prayer session in January, it became clear that she needed to be the voice for the children who couldn't articulate the frustration and the futility that she was feeling.
Because I was desperate, and I would ask God that, I didn't want to be another local story that disappeared, and I just became another statistic on a paper. And I prayed that God would keep me there, and if he kept me, I would do anything I could to be the voice for little kids.
So Lauren began her journey, holding fundraisers and speaking out about the ravaging disease inside her head. But not many noticed until basketball season approached and a new MRI.
I knew in the back of my mind that it had grown.
What did she say?
Just, there's nothing they really do say, because I can't do anything.
Given until December to live, Lauren was determined to play college basketball. At least one game. After Hiram College agreed to give up a home game and the NCAA granted an exemption, the game was moved to November 2nd.
She's put her teammates first. She's put her family first.
And just to give her that one last wish would be incredible from our program and our players.
When we told Lauren's story, it became a goal not for Lauren or for her coach or her teammates. It became a goal for Cincinnati and then the nation to see Lauren play. The game moved to the Cintas Center, sold out to 10,000 fans in less than an hour. And on November 2nd, Lauren Hill played college basketball.
The screen comes, the ball goes down to Lauren Hill, and the layup is good. A layup for Lauren. And number 22, we will remember that layup forever.
One layup to open the game.
The rebound, Dennis, back to Lauren. She goes back up and got it.
And one to close it. She, of course, corrected me during the broadcast.
Let's not call it my last game.
You want to go somewhere?
This is my first collegiate game.
She would play in 4 games before calling it a career, including a pair on the floor where she dreamed about squeaking those shoes. The Harrington Center of Mount St. Joe. 5 baskets in all. Her point total, a perfect 10. Lauren had a goal to raise awareness and cancer research funding.
DIPG has taken away way too many lives, but now with your help, you can do Layup for Lauren's challenge.
And that superhero that she wanted to feel like was born. Network interviews, international celebrity. Lauren was making good on everything she said she would.
I'm just so happy that it's having this big of an impact. And I want to thank everyone for donating and helping research.
The face for DIPG, the voice for the voiceless children, and the name behind the donations to fight the battle against pediatric cancer.
I'm not fighting for myself. I'm fighting for others, and I'm fighting for the future. Because if we find a cure for DIPG, the home run cure, we can cure all cancers.
On February 6th, in a private ceremony for family, teammates, and friends, Lauren was presented with an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Mount St. Joe's. A Doctor of Humanity at 19. It seemed appropriate.
You have accomplished much, even more than most of us here could imagine accomplishing in our own lives.
She was a huge gift from God, and if he takes her back, then we'll have to deal with it. But why we had her for 19 years, she was ours.
From the time I met her until the time she left us, Lauren Hill changed very little. The cancer changed her appearance, but it couldn't change her heart or her desire to serve others and make a real difference. She became my good friend, and I love her.
When I leave, that's why I'm not scared. I'm scared for everybody else, like my family, and how they'll handle it. I know they'll be fine.
Goodbye, 22. You were a hell of a player, and when you came along, that's when everything changed.
Let's just absorb it in. Listen to him chant.